Hello and welcome back. Now it's actually been a while since I've done one of these, but this is my top 3 support frames. And of course the first one is Shock Horror Necros. Now before I get too into this, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Paradxlive, who has helped me do this video, or rather let me help him help me do this video. Because he is the Inaros and I am trying to support him and keep him alive. And all the while we were doing just a 30-minute survival on Sedna, the previous dark sector. And the general idea was we'll do 30 minutes and we'll sort of average out how much damage he takes, just to see what sort of support frame would be the best. Now, a lot of people are probably sat there going, how the hell is Necros a support frame? Surely other frames would be better. Well, pretty much at the moment we don't really actually have that many support frames. And the other option that I had was Harrow. Now I find Harrow to be insanely greedy as a support frame, where Necros is a little bit more sharing. Necros isn't strictly speaking a support frame, it's all about his Desecrate. You spawn energy orbs for energy, health orbs for health. You would also most likely need an arcane pulse just to act a little bit more supporty. He can also provide ammunition as well, resources. He is in a very broad spectrum, but also just only ever so slightly a support frame. He covers a very wide basis of utility items of what he can do, but he's only really sort of, although in some areas he definitely excels as a support frame, he's only really ever so slightly a support frame, but he is generally just enough to help new players just to stay alive for a little bit longer than they thought they would need. And so because of that, I have gone for Necros as my number 3 top support frame. He is also very well suited to supporting himself. Along with supporting, I have been told that some people class CC as a support style as well. Personally, I'd say a CC frame is a CC frame and a support frame is a support frame. But if we wanted to count CC in with support, well, Necros is all over that as well. His 2 is a mass CC as well as debuff for the enemy. His 1 is immediate single target CC as well as can be secondary close knit group CC, because it can knock back quite a few things. And on the subject of his 1, he has the Augment Soul Survivor, which particularly in very high content where you don't particularly want to get too close to a downed ally as fear of a very large mob swarming around them, which can happen. Soul Survivor, you press 1 on them, it will completely drain all of Necros's energy, but it will revive your ally instantly, but only to 30% of their max health. From there they would need a little bit more supporting from Desecrate, preferably with Arcane Pulse. I honestly really do recommend Arcane Pulse on Necros, and you do have a very loose but still rather effective support frame that you can take into some seriously high level content. One of the main reasons I have put him on here, because you could argue there are other frames that are more supporty in that sense, but Necros is able to go higher and further into a lot of the content. So where other supports would start to fail, he can continue. His supporting abilities might not be as good, but he can continue further. He can push that little bit extra to help support a team or an individual frame where others will not be able to. So because of that, Necros is my number 3 pick for my top 3 warframes. Number 2, who did not see this coming? Oberon. He has made a serious name for himself as of late, particularly with Eidolon hunting, or as I like to say, Monsieur Eidolon. He has become a top tier frame and highly sought after within Eidolon hunting. He is also amazing at defenses and survivals. He can help spawn those health orbs, and in a close-knit area, particularly for camping groups, as long as you're able to keep your energy supply up, Hunter Adrenaline or Rage is useful for this. You are able to near enough provide permanent healing for your team, and if, like me, you are using Phoenix Renewal, your team can't die, which is also handy. Well, they can, but it takes a few tries because they have to wait for Phoenix Renewal's cooldown to expire, or for it to be on cooldown, which is quite useful. So if Phoenix Renewal isn't on cooldown, your team basically all have a free life. If it is on cooldown, they need to watch themselves, but you are still able to heal them. This also applies to the Oberon as well, as he will heal himself using his abilities, as well as keep himself alive with a free life using Phoenix Renewal. He is also able to support his team by providing them with armor. Everyone likes armor. This adds into overall EHP, damage mitigation, and also helps keep your team alive. So not only is he actually making your team more tanky so that they can help themselves be alive and not dead, which is generally the preferred way to play Warframe without being dead, he also healing them, which is a serious bonus to a support. You're providing a armor buff and healing, and if they do manage to get through that armor and healing and still die, they have an extra life. And when they eventually, if they do die again while Phoenix Renewal is on cooldown, their, I don't know what to call it, the death timer of the period of time where you are able to revive them is seriously extended. I believe in the build I've got it's about 70 seconds. So that would be enough time to collect a mob, run away to drag that mob with you, and then hightail it back so that you are able to essentially revive them without being hindered too well. Or Vazarin, insta revives are useful. So because of this, at low to mid content, Oberon really does excel. He can near enough just stand there. As long as your allies stay within range of Oberon, they are near enough immortal. At high end content, like into the Sortie 2 and Sortie 3, that's where you would need to sort of start paying a bit of attention. You will still heal your allies and you will still act as an amazing support. But if you get focused too much, and I say that because if you're utilising a build similar to mine, you're using Rage or Hunter Adrenaline to keep your energy up, because supporting a team is very costly. So you are going to be wanting to try and take certain amounts of damage just to keep your energy up. But if you get focused too much, they can chew through your health, pushing Renewal into overload, which will then consume all of your energy. You will then die, but Phoenix Renewal will take you back, which costs even more energy. You then have to recast your abilities. You're now out of energy, and you are now going to be taking some serious damage. Once you go down, that leaves your team without a support, which normally really isn't too much of a problem, but in high-end content, without a support frame to help push your team forward, keeping them alive, keeping them up and just upbeat in general and able to perform their roles, whether it be CC or damage dealer, you then start to encounter some serious problems. Without a CC, enemies run rampant. Without a damage dealer, enemies don't die. If enemies aren't dying, you're unable to remain in control. So in effect, there is Oberon's problem. He is an amazing support, but you need to be able to moderate how much damage you are taking so that you do not become overrun, because if you become overrun, you are then a detriment to your team rather than a help. And finally, the number one spot goes to Trinity. Honestly, if you didn't see that coming, I don't know what to do with you. Trinity is like the original support frame, and she is amazingly adept at it. Her one ability, although it's seldom used, is actually really good, especially at high levels. If you are wanting to keep your combo multiplier going, you need to heal as well as just sort of take a break from being completely spammed. Hit an enemy with your one ability, you give them a serious amount of health, but every time that you hit them, you heal for X percentage of that health. So, and obviously if you're hitting them, combo melee counter, good way to get it up, or at least maintain it if you need just a quick break, or if you're on solo, just press escape because it will pause the game. 2 ability provides energy. We all need energy, particularly against high level infested, because all you get is parasitic eczemas. So energy vampire is an amazing ability. 3 is really good for 1, keeping you alive, as well as debuffing the enemy because you can remove armor. It also helps spread the damage in which you take to nearby enemies, therefore allowing you to act as little bit more as a damage dealer, although EV does do some serious damage itself because it's percentage based. Who came up with that? And then of course there is the ultimate in healing. You can be at 1 HP on your last leg. You press 4 as long as you are within affinity range of the Trinity. Just by pressing 4, you now are at max health, max shield, and you have a 75% damage mitigation. What more do I need to say about this? Trinity is, as a support, the superb frame. She can turn anything into a mid-level tank with a 75% damage mitigation, which is really handy. Good enough to take you through sortie quite easily. She can provide energy, she can heal you a little bit, she can heal you a lot, she can debuff the enemy, she can near enough just do all of it herself. Just sit back and just let the Trin do it, guys. Trin is absolutely amazing, and she has taken a particular highlight in Eidolon hunting because, let's face it, as Hydralists are a little bit annoying, but if you've got a good Trin that knows what they're doing, don't worry about it. It might take a bit of time, but at least you're going to live. Anyway, that is me. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much again to Para for helping me out in this video, and I will see you all pretty darn soon. Ta-ra!